professionals who happen to be brothers get together and chat around the country. My name's Phil. I'm a lawyer. I live in South Dakota. We've got Matt, who's the next oldest. He is an engineer living in Tucson, Arizona. And Ben, who's a preacher living in the middle of Illinois. Ben, that's not what Illinois communists do.
Yeah.
I can't do that on tape.
Good point. Good point. All right, so before we got started, folks, we were talking about the wonderful wide world of tires. Oh, yes, so interesting. Tires.
Oh, this is riveting.
I'm so tired.
Riveting stuff, because in the past short period of time, it seems that all three of us have had to put tires on one vehicle or another.
Or all of them.
I think, yeah, Ben, you're probably the oldest set of tires that we're talking about.
I put eight tires on 2 vehicles in 2 years.
So. I've put 12. Okay, not really. 8 definitely within the last 12 months.
Okay.
Plus 4 new tires on a new vehicle.
Okay.
Have the newest tires and the oldest.
You don't get to count bringing a new vehicle into the family that already had new tires on it, Matt.
Good call. Call.
But they are brand new tires.
Yeah, but you don't get to count that. I'm sorry. Nice try though.
I
paid
bought a
for them
truck
though.
with bald tires, and I had to buy new tires.
Yeah, you did. So I was pulling into work on Monday or Tuesday, and I parked the Ford Ranger that I've been driving, the 91 Rust Bucket Ford Ranger, and got my bag out of the toolbox and closed the toolbox, and I hear...
Shouldn't have closed the toolbox.
Clearly that was it. These tires, only 6 or 7 years old. Day codes on them 2013, 2014.
Wow.
And my right front just absolutely dry rotted to nothing.
It happens.
Yeah. So I had to get new tires. And I apologize, I'm texting. We had a little incident, evidently, with the Attorney General last night. He was in a car accident, and there was a fatality. It wasn't him. I don't know anything more than that, but I've got people texting me from around the state now asking if he's okay, so I may be taking a few short breaks and answering texts. We have a special guest today, David Carlson. Hi, David. Oh, the tickle monster's here. So anyway, I had to get new tires on the Ranger, which I knew I was going to have to do. They were pretty cracked and stuff anyway, but I didn't think I was going to have to do them now. Luckily, Walmart had a pretty good special on some tires that would fit, and I've got a good shop in town that can put them on without me being concerned about them screwing something up.
Well,
like, that other place.
Better now than in the middle of winter.
I knew they weren't going to make winter.
And I always view it as best in that part of the country to get tires this time of year.
Yeah.
Because then you get new tires for winter.
Yep, exactly. And I was able to go from a Goodyear light truck tire that was actually more of a car tire, they just made it in a light truck size, to a Cooper, to an actual Cooper AT, which I got a smoking hot deal on. It's a tire I think they only make for Walmart, because I couldn't actually even find the tire on Cooper's website. So usually that means they make a special model for Walmart to have the price lower than anybody else in the country. So
probably same injection mold or whatever they use for tires, but with cheaper materials.
That's my guess. Yeah.
And
we lost Ben.
Oh man. Oh darn.
We didn't lose Ben.
And I was texting again.
We didn't lose Ben, did we?
No. We haven't lost you.
We lost you a long time ago.
I mean, mentally, yes.
Yeah.
Physically, I've been here.
Yeah, for sure. So all in, I had tires on the Ranger for $400, right at $405, something like that.
But that's a little truck.
It's a little truck, yeah. And I went up a tire size from what it had, from a 215/75 to a 235/75. and I spent significantly less money going with the larger tire than I would have going with the smaller tire. So,
Well, that's what I
how,
found out with the truck too.
yeah.
how does that
welcome-
work?
So it's supply and demand.
No, the sizes. I don't understand how you
Okay.
can put different size tires on. I just drive little cars, so I don't know these things.
So, okay. So first, a little primer probably for our viewers. I'm sure you guys know this, but for our viewers, the way tire size work, you've got 3 components to the tire size, basically. So the tires I put on the truck were 235/75 R15s. Okay, 3 components. The 235 is the width of the tread in millimeters. The 75 is the sidewall height as a percentage of the width of the tread. So the sidewall height is 75% of the 235 millimeter width of the tire tread. And then the 15 is simply the wheel size that amounts to. So I went from a 215/75 to a 235/75. And what that means is the width of the tire got bigger, and since the percentage is the same, then so did the sidewall height. It grew, put about another inch and a quarter, I think.
So I
of
think your
sidewall
tires would fit my truck.
Yeah, they might. I don't remember what the Dakotas have.
Oh,
but
nice. Now your speedometer's wrong.
No, my speedometer was
No.
reading. My speedometer read faster than I was going anyway, and doing this actually took it closer to correct than it was before, because let's face it, my truck is an old rusty beater.
And the only difference in my tires, I went with the bigger ones, the wider ones, not the bigger ones, but I went with
Right.
a 235 rather than a 225.
Mhm.
So that was just the only difference for me.
Yep. So that's what tire sizes mean. Sometimes you'll get a little number after or a little letter after the tire size, like an S or a T. Some performance cars you'll have something like a Z, and that's
For
a speed.
sport.
Yeah, that's a speed rating, and that'll tell you what the maximum sustained speed the tire is designed for. Please note that the local highway patrol will not care that your tires are speed rated.
Officer, the mechanic
I know.
said that I could go this fast.
Right.
Well,
Not
and-
my problem.
And the thing is that on some luxury cars nowadays, the TPMS sensor is configured that if you're at or above a certain speed for a long enough period of time, it'll actually notify you if your tire pressure isn't hard enough for that speed.
Yeah. There's some that will tell you if your driving conditions aren't appropriate for your tire pressure, they'll notify you of that, which I think is fantastic. Yeah, the best thing you can do for vehicles is making sure you get good tires on them. Assuming everything else is in good shape, then the tires are going to be. I mean, that is your only contact with the road and the vehicle, and so you've got to make sure that they're in good shape.
Wait, it is?
Yeah. Well,
I
okay.
got some work to do.
Probably not on my car because.
Well, you know,
You're
I
BMW, right?
Right.
I understand that if you drop the exhaust, you get a little extra contact, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, the BMW has no contact with the ground right now. Up on jack stands.
Yay! It's a
Anyway,
light
that,
enough car. I'm
that
not
little
worried about
extra bit of sidewall, completely different driving experience. It's made the truck drive a lot better,
it. Yeah.
and a lot more traction too, which is great because
You
we
probably
were coming-
lose a little gas mileage though, right? With the wider tread.
Yeah, probably, but I mean it's a pickup, so
Yeah, it's a pickup from, what'd you say, the 90s?
it's a 91. It's got a 4-cylinder, so it's as economical as you could get for a 91 pickup, probably. But it's still a big brick with an open bed rolling through the air.
I didn't realize this, Phil. You have a 91. I have a 2001. It's time for Matt to get a 2011.
Seems reasonable.
No,
Seems
no.
like it's a trend.
He needs
No.
a Chevy,
20.
and he needs a Chevy because we've got a Ford and a Dodge.
Like a rock, it only moves when you can throw it.
Hey, I already had a 2001.
I had a buddy
What was-
on Facebook.
Was your van? Your van was 2001.
No,
No, what was your
my
van?
Pontiac was.
No, that's not the
So
same.
I've
That
had-
doesn't count.
I've had 3 vehicles that are 2001. I had the Pontiac for a year of high school, and then I had the was the Acura?
That doesn't count.
the
Mom and Dad
the Honda
had it.
Civic. They didn't drive it. I did. So the Honda Civic was a 2001, and now the Dodge Dakota. So, but
Nice.
I've had a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you have. You've put a lot of
Yeah.
miles on vehicles too.
Yes.
So that's the discussion from my end on tires. I know, Matt, you put tires on your Dodge
Yep.
Dart the other day.
So
And-
I'm at
This is funny.
77,000 miles.
Nice. That's half the
That-
miles I have on my pickup, just about.
That was
That's
my
almost
second,
what I purchased my truck with.
that was my second set of tires on that car.
So you just took off the factory set?
No,
No,
I just took
second
off
set.
the second set.
Okay, so this
The
is your
first set,
third set of
yeah.
tires on the.
I just put on the third set.
Okay.
But at 77,000 miles, the previous two pairs of or sets of tires, not pairs, sets of tires were 40,000 mile tires. So I'm
You did about right then.
just about right.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
took this set a little longer than I probably should have.
Yeah, that happens from time to time.
Sounds like you're in Arizona and you can do that.
You know, that's kind of what I felt. I felt like I could push it until till monsoon season. Monsoon season was kind of a dud here, so
You have a Dart. It's called drifting, Matt.
no, they call that hydroplaning, and it's not safe.
It's totally safe in a Dart when you're drifting.
So
I'm glad Phil's not listening right now.
It's
But,
totally
uh,
safe in your Dart. It's not safe in a Dart when you're not drifting it. Remember what Tom and Ray Mayorzi said.
It's not safe in a Dart when you're not drifting. You heard it from Phil first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Always drift if you have a Dodge Dart.
Always drift if you have a Dodge Dart.
no,
You guys know
that's
who,
only
um,
that's only if you run in the swinger package.
Well, the swinger pack. I was in Rapid last weekend, and I hung out with a friend of mine, Jeremy Farr. I don't know if Jeremy watches this, but Jeremy, if you do, thanks for hanging out with me.
I have a question. How far is Jeremy?
How
Didn't you say it was Jeremy Farr? I'm just asking how far he is.
Jeremy has some very fine pieces of old Mopar muscle equipment, including a couple of beautiful Dodge Darts.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really nice. He's got a beautiful '69 Roadrunner, really nice Challenger, and then a couple of Darts floating around. He's currently working on a '71 Roadrunner in plum crazy purple.
Oh,
The thing is
It's
I
gorgeous.
have the 2013 Dart. You know how much fun it would be to get a matching 1970 something Dart?
like a 1968 or '69 Dart.
I
You
could
never-
go
yeah,
with
not
a,
even 7.
You would never want to drive your 2013 ever, ever again.
well, I now
That's
live in the
why
right
it's a
state
garage
for it,
car.
So
True. That's very true. We've been looking at cars to replace my Beamer with, and somebody in South Dakota is selling a like an early 2000s, late 90s Buick Roadmaster wagon.
why would you get a Buick? Are you?
Matt, back to your tires.
Do you
Yeah.
know what motor they put in the Buick Roadmaster wagon?
I don't care what motor they
don't
put
care.
in. You
It's a
put Buick
Buick.
in front of it, and it's garbage.
They put the LT1 Corvette engine in there.
It sounds like a Corvette.
Whoop-de
and it sounds
doo!
like
It's
a
not a
Chevy.
Hemi.
You know what I've heard about Chevy? It's like a rock.
3 rows
And the
of
only way it
seats.
moves is if it's propelled by physical
The
force.
back row faces backwards.
You can get a Tesla that does that.
I can put a
But a
back row
Tesla
in my
doesn't have
truck.
an LT1.
Hold on.
No, it has. Go ahead.
I can put a third row in my truck and face it backwards too. And it has a 5.9 liter.
Look, you guys know I've got this sickness. I love wagons. I can't help it.
I mean, we all love wagons, but I can change my Dakota into a wagon. I'll
I
just
mean, you
put a
kind of
topper on it.
you kind of have.
Well, it's not. I
I
mean,
mean, it's not on there right now, but it was on there.
yesterday it was.
So Matt put tires on his. You got Bridgestones, right?
Yes, Bridgestone Potenzas.
You went with factory size.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I ever do.
Well, you're in a car. You're not in a truck. You don't have a lot of wheel arch space to put a bigger tire in, things like that.
Well, and it's an economy car. It's
Right.
down low to the ground.
It's not a Camry though. It's not grounded to the ground.
No. Nor is it some EV craziness.
Right.
So
Right. Cool. And Ben, you put tires on Banner.
Yes,
You got
Banner.
it.
You're not gonna like it when he turns green, okay? Because he's like the Incredible Hulk.
He's always great.
It's my wagon.
Yeah, man.
It's beautiful. Yes, I have pictures of Banner. He's a part of the family. But I put some BF Goodrich, the lower end of the what people around here call knobby tires.
Yeah.
the lower end of the BF Goodriches, because I don't, the last part of BF Goodrich, I'm not rich, so
Right. You got the rugged terrains, right?
rugged terrains. Is that right? Or did you get the rugged?
No,
whichever one's the
The
lower.
so BF Goodrich has
Rugged terrains. Yeah.
the all terrains,
Yes.
which is their expensive one, and then the rugged terrains are their cheaper ones. Which
Yes.
I would have looked into getting for my pickup, but these Coopers that I put on were like $74 each from Walmart. Can't touch it. Anything else? So
Yeah. But Phil, on your Lexus, you have the all terrains.
I do, but I picked them up used.
Right, but still a great tire.
They are
BF
a great tire.
Goodrich.
Yep.
I'll tell you this: like when I didn't have the BF Goodrich on, the truck was noisy as all. Like it was just the noisiest thing ever. I put the BF Goodrich, and I felt like I was in a car.
Yep.
With the noise.
We've
they were
lost
great.
Matt to paperwork.
That's all right. I spent probably with everything all included, and this was up in South Dakota. I spent, I think, a couple bucks under 500.
Yeah.
But I got the 235s. I forget the exact details on them. This was 2 years ago.
Right.
I put 20,000, not quite 20,000 miles on the truck. 400,000. Well, did I get it with 79 something, or did I get it with 80?
I want to say it was
It was really close to
it was
80.
really close to 80.
I'm less than 400 miles from 100,000 miles.
Oh wow.
But that was 2 years ago, a year and a half, a little over a year and a half ago. And so for me, that driving is actually low. As per old cars, I used to put 30,000 or more on those cars every year.
Yeah.
And so
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when I was single, I was driving all the time. I could. And so I would replace tires every year and a half to 2 years. So
That'll do it. Well,
best pair of tires I ever had on a car are Michelin's.
for a bit there, you were replacing transmissions every year or so too. So,
The TL was not a good car. No,
ladies and gentlemen, they say Hondas are great, but let me tell you about
I never had a problem with my Hondas.
early 2000s Honda V6 automatic transmissions. Avoid at all costs.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time you guys took your vehicle to a tire shop like the Firestone Tire Shop, but I'm just looking at my my suggested work here.
Mm-hmm.
Cabin air filter.
Mm-hmm.
They want
Yeah.
$37 for the air filter, for the cabin air filter,
For the part?
itself,
Oh,
Wow.
and then they want to charge me $23 for the labor.
that
The
sounds.
labor's
about
not
right.
bad. The labor's not bad.
The thing is it takes me exactly 5 minutes to replace my cabin air filter.
Right, but
so-
book time on it's probably a couple of tenths, maybe
Yeah.
a quarter of an hour.
Let's see here. They do want to do a coolant fluid flush and new fluid.
Everybody wants to do that.
They wanted to do a new serpentine belt.
Yep.
They wanted $180 for that serpentine belt.
For the belt
The-
or for
the
the
part?
belt and labor?
Belt and labor.
Okay, that's, yeah.
$91 for the part.
No, that's way
What?
too much.
I went to O'Reilly's and I spent, what was it, like $14?
Which,
Yeah.
did you get the gates?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And it took me a half hour to do the replacement.
I know on my black Honda, the serpentine belt was $40 with a
Mhm.
discount.
Yeah, some cert belts can be expensive, but not $91. Not on a
But-
four-cylinder.
Evidently, the Firestone version of the serpentine belt for my car is $91.
That's nuts.
It's made out of a Teflon hybrid metal.
No, just
No, it's made from unobtainium.
it's made from too expensive for anybody to actually put money into.
It's made
So-
of gold.
And then almost so for like 2 or 3 months straight, I was putting fuel injector cleaner, fuel system cleaner through my tank with every fill up.
Okay.
And they here also say that I need a fuel system cleaning.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Car Wizard at all.
I saw that he got a boat.
You did get a boat, and it's old and ratty, and it's fantastic. He talks about some of the problems with modern direct injected engines,
Mhm.
and one of the things that can happen is because the fuel is injected directly into the cylinder and not into the exhaust runner manifold, right? The fuel isn't cleaning the exhaust manifold runner out, and so you get carbon buildup in the exhaust manifold runner.
Do you mean the intake?
Intake, sorry, yes, my bad. It's been a long day. Intake runner manifold runner, and that carbon will harden up and solidify, and if it breaks loose from the intake, you can imagine the consequences of hardened carbon getting into the intake valve and causing havoc with your intake valves. And so it is, you know, it used to be that there was snake oil. Oh, we're going to clean your intake system. No, not really.
Well,
But
it would be one thing if they said intake system.
what'd they say? Fuel system?
This is fuel system.
No, you've been putting stuff in, change the filter out, and you're good to go.
So-
I haven't changed the fuel filter, but that's part of the.
You're fine at 88,000 miles.
77,000 miles.
77,000 miles. You're fine.
Let me get this right, and maybe I'm wrong. On the Dakota, don't the injectors go into the intake manifold?
I think you've got a throttle body. No, you don't. You've got.
I do have a
individual
throttle
inject-
body.
But you've
on
got
top.
individual injectors, right? You've got
Yeah, I
8
have-
injectors.
Yep.
Yeah, so yours go into the intake manifold. The engines that are direct injected are within the past 5 years, maybe 7 years.
Why would they
7
make
years.
that
Mine was
change?
2013.
Why did it? Because it's much more efficient. You can get much more power out of it.
You can also control the air
Yeah.
fuel mix
Yep.
ratio
Yep.
throughout the cylinder, so that you don't have hot spots in the cylinder. I've done quite a bit of research in that because
Yeah.
that's kind of a hobby of
Yep.
mine, is understanding the inner workings of an engine. Very dry
lot of
stuff
just-
that our people watching don't want to hear about, but
I just think I think it's interesting, and that's why I asked. Like,
it's led to. I mean, a lot of the reason why you see modern engines making so much horsepower is because of the direct injection. But the
Very
penalty you
cool.
pay is it's not as clean inside the engine. It burns cleaner, but
so
you
hold
have,
on, it's not as efficient.
it is more efficient.
it's more efficient, but it doesn't provide the ethanol and other alcohols cleaning the carbon off of your intake manifold and whatnot as
It
it's
sounds like a problem.
That is a problem, but companies are making actual real cleaning solutions that you can use to clean that stuff up.
Yeah.
How is this not another
So-
bill?
the
Well, it can be if you don't get it, if you don't keep doing it. Cleaning that stuff out of an intake manifold can be very expensive.
yeah.
Seafoam.
The
Seriously.
other thing on that invoice I wanted to speak to was the coolant flush.
Yeah.
People don't
I actually want to do
Yeah.
that, so
people don't flush their coolant nearly enough, and the results can be catastrophic on
Yeah.
cooling systems. And if they're catastrophic on cooling systems, that can lead to catastrophic problems.
Well,
in your engine.
up in the northern climes, it can also negatively impact your ability to heat the vehicle
Yeah, it
in the
can.
winter.
It can. When we bought our Lexus, it had been in Texas its whole life, and I've been dealing with cooling issues since we had it because they never ran the heat, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something you definitely want to do.
I bought my truck up in South Dakota, and I've had coolant issues
Right.
since I bought it.
Right. I'm
I blame
not I'm not saying that people take better care of their cars up here, but if their heater goes out, they're going to do something about it. Versus Texas, where if your heater goes out, you might go meh.
Yeah, I don't know about Texas, but here in Arizona, going to work in the morning during winter months, it's uncomfortable in the car. It gets chilly.
What does it get to 40, Matt?
It gets to 33.
Phil,
Whatever.
in the car, it gets to 71.
I know.
It's tough
Really
where
cool.
Matt lives. It's so
Guys,
tough.
these are first world problems here.
Clearly.
I see that you are totally in depression now,
Yeah.
and I will be sending you a check to get you some kind of counseling.
I'm
so
not. I'm
you
just
can
going to
get-
send him a plane ticket to
I care. Phil.
Aberdeen in January. We'll
Yeah,
take care
but
of that.
my check can be
Thanks.
smaller than yours.
I look forward to that.
I'm not going to send you to Aberdeen because
I'm not gonna send you a check.
Oh,
sorry.
don't tease me like that.
Right.
Here's
Okay.
the carrot.
So let's get off of cars and talk about a movie. We were supposed
What
to
movie,
watch
Phil?
Glory for this week's podcast.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
If you make fun of that song, I will come to Lake and Illinois.
I'm not making
and
fun of it. I
beat
mean,
your communist butt.
I think personally it goes with the movie, but
It does. We watched Glory. Glory is man, I didn't check the year when it was made. It's a movie about the Civil War. It is a movie about the 54th Massachusetts Regiment, which was one of the first colored regiments in the Union Army.
movie was made in the 90s.
51st, 54th.
Early 90s.
54th Massachusetts. Yeah, early 90s sounds about right. Lots of big names in this. The part of
Matthew Broderick?
Colonel Robert Shaw is played by Matthew Broderick, who I did a little bit of research on this. He was widely panned as being inappropriately cast for the part.
1989.
Okay,
I was
there we go.
wrong.
But you go back and look at pictures of Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, and you realize that Matthew Broderick looks like him. Morgan Freeman
I'll be right.
was in the movie,
Keep on
along
going.
with Denzel Washington, who won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in the film. And Ben just ran away,
Yes, he did.
much like soldiers did in the Civil War at times.
But very few from that company.
Very few from the 54th Massachusetts. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tells the story of the other person there, Carrie Elwes, Wesley, aka the Dread Pirate Roberts, is also in the movie.
Also,
tells-
Robin Hood from the Robin Hood.
Also, Robin Hood Men in Tight Tights. Where we get Matthew's nickname, Machu, son of a sneeze. Tells the story of the formation of the 54th. The 54th was formed at the behest of such individuals as Frederick Douglass and the governor of Massachusetts at the time, and then Colonel Shaw's father, who was a well-known abolitionist in the Boston area. They formed out of freedmen and escaped slaves, trained for a long while, then fought in the South Carolina campaign, including the second battle of Fort Franklin, I can't remember the name of the fort now. One of the forts in the Charleston area. The Charleston area was just festooned with forts during this time. They led the charge against that fort, and the charge and the battle was unsuccessful for the Union side, and the 54th Massachusetts lost somewhere around 40 or 50% of its men in the battle, including Colonel Shaw and several of the main characters. Some of the main characters were based on real life individuals. Some of them were not. Denzel Washington's character was not. Morgan Freeman's character was not. Though there were certainly people, I'm sure, in the regiment who were similar in nature to those guys. There's a monument in Boston to the 54th Massachusetts, very detailed brass plaque, and if you look at it closely, some of the individuals portrayed as soldiers in the regiment did in fact bear a resemblance to the actors. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just got a notification from Zoom. They're giving us no time limit.
Praise the Lord.
Right? It's good because we got a lot to say today. I thought I'd seen bits and pieces of Glory before. I had seen just that, bits and pieces. There was a lot I hadn't seen. And during the first battle they show, which was not involving the 54th, but was involving Colonel Shaw, I remembered something my parents had said. I'm sorry, children, you can't watch that movie. Somebody gets decapitated in it. And in fact, that's exactly what happened. So I get why they wouldn't let us watch it as children, but it's something I should have watched a long time ago. It's a fantastic war movie talking about a part of the Civil War that we don't often speak of, because there's so much in the Civil War to talk about. And a movie that, frankly, I think is very appropriate to this day and age and this time, talking about how we as Americans can come together despite differences in race, to work together as Americans.
I would say that it's very apropos.
Apropos is exactly the word I was looking for. Wait. It's very apropos.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you. Who wants to go next about their thoughts on the movie?
Well, I think you kind of said everything I was going to say as far as the entertainment value. If you're into watching war movies and you don't mind the gore during the couple of battle scenes, it definitely
Not
gives
just the
you-
battle scenes. Remember, there's a couple other scenes in there that have a little gore.
Well, my background being what my background is,
There were scenes that weren't battle that made me come close to tears.
I understand that, and that's definitely a warning for those. I saw the hardship and I understood
Yep.
the conflict
Mhm.
as good as I can understand the conflict, and I definitely have respect for those that went through that and made a place for themselves.
Yeah.
In our great nation's army.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else to say about it, Matt?
Great movie. I haven't gone and done the historical research on it, so I can't say if how accurate it is or not. But I felt as dry as it.
Yeah.
I say that. I say that kind of tongue in cheek. The pace was pretty good, but it definitely matches my expectation for what a historical movie should be.
Yep. Good. Okay. Ben,
My problem was that Matthew Broderick.
you didn't like Matthew Broderick, huh?
No, I loved him in the movie.
Okay.
The issue is that I kept on thinking about Ferris Bueller.
Oh, that's
And
why
then-
I don't mind it, because I absolutely cannot stand Ferris Bueller's
And then
Day.
Carrie Elwes, or however you pronounce his
Elwes.
name. I kept on thinking of two other movies.
As you wish.
Yes, Princess Bride and
He
But
wasn't here
unlike-
when we covered this.
Other Robin Hoods. I speak
Men in
British
Tights.
accent.
How do you put these two comedic actors in such a serious role? They
You know-
pulled it off so well, and they did such a good job.
Yeah.
It
But
really
at the same
shows-
time, I'm thinking of all the sarcasm and the hilarious puns they have,
Yeah.
and I'm going,
it really shows the caliber of actors that both of them
It
are.
does. Yeah. It does.
yes, it does. And I think my problem is not really a big problem.
No.
I think it's more of an enlightenment and just showing me that these actors are really serious
Yeah.
about their job and
Yep.
about what they can do,
Yep.
but also about pulling off something that's real life.
Mhm.
And amazing movie. I mean, you have Denzel Washington, who is obviously a serious actor.
Yep.
Morgan Freeman, who has tapped into the comedy a little bit, but early on was very serious and very,
Yep.
I mean, Shawshank Redemption, and you have Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and you have all these other great movies. I mean,
Yeah.
just right here in this conversation, we've named, 4 or 5 phenomenal movies that
Yeah.
these actors are in, and Morgan Freeman made the movie. Denzel Washington made the movie.
Denzel-
I'm sorry. I think Morgan Freeman made the movie because of his character as like a father figure, and he really is a father
he
figure.
helped, but I don't know that I'd say he made the movie. Denzel Washington's character definitely made the movie. And I don't know if you caught
At
this.
the,
Denzel won an Academy Award for that role.
oh, did he?
What about
Awesome.
Andre? I don't know how to say Andre B. Brogger.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's one of the main guys there. I don't watch
Yes.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but
Absolutely.
Who-
So Brooklyn
which
Nine-Nine,
character did he play? Was he Thomas?
he
yeah,
yes.
that's Thomas.
Okay.
Yep. He is
Great
the
job.
captain in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like the top of the rank. I forget, maybe lieutenant, whatever it is. He's hilarious. He has a dry sense of humor, but in this he plays such, and that's the other guy. Like he plays such a sincere role,
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
No, he did a great job.
dang.
He did a great job. Yeah.
No dry humor in it. It's just very sincere, very real, very raw. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, it was very raw. And that's okay. Civil War movies should be raw.
Yeah.
You know, I've watched I was absolutely thrilled to find a copy of Gettysburg at our local thrift store, and I sat and watched it and realized that it glosses over a lot, and Glory doesn't do that. Glory tackles some of the racial issues and things like that, and tackles them headlong in a way that people today would be able to respect and understand, even though it's 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree. It's well done. Definitely a movie that I recommend, and I think people should check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, and don't mind the gore.
And do the research on the 54th Massachusetts. They are a regiment that was absolutely amazing at doing what they needed to do, which was integration. And of course, the story of racial integration in the Army is a very long story that didn't finish in the Civil War, unfortunately, and was drug out through World War II, and even with some racial issues continuing into the Vietnam era and later. Every now and then I still hear about some racial issues in the military, unfortunately, though I think they're mostly dealt with now. So definitely something to look into, something to check out about our nation's past. And I think everybody should learn about our nation's past, because some of the things we're going through right now, if people would just study history and learn about the challenges as we've already dealt with them, we wouldn't have some of the issues we're having now.
Maybe not that we wouldn't have the issues that we're having now, but we might have a little bit better understanding.
Yeah. Well, I believe that some of the issues we're having now we wouldn't have, and I firmly believe that those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that now.
Oh, definitely.
So it saddens me. It's something as a historian that I look at and go, why are we doing this again? But
let's not dig too far into that.
Yeah, leave that for another time.
Dang, son.
Let's not talk about Goon Squad. Although, okay, we're going to talk about Goon Squad since you brought it up.
We're not. Let's continue.
I enjoy watching their videos because I think they do good work.
Yes.
But I can't stand listening to them.
Oh, I think it's hilarious. And it's normally just the one guy that you hear.
I have trouble telling them apart, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's the younger one out of the two that's always just in front of the camera, and then you have the other guy doing all the work. Have you ever noticed that?
The oldest brother usually is the one who does all the work and gets things done.
Not true. Only in their family.
Is that Roman Atwood?
No.
I don't think so.
Goon
Squad?
Goon Squad has nothing to do with Roman
channel,
Atwood.
Matt.
They're actually
GOONZ
SQUAD.
Yeah, Goons
Squad.
Goon Squad.
They appear to be young men in their early 20s.
Yeah. They redid a 2016 Dodge Viper.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I did a YouTube search for Goon Squad, and Roman Atwood came in just after all their stuff. So
I think there was a movie by that name. So
yeah, maybe. But
should we talk about our drinks?
Mine is something I've drank on here before. I decided to put down alcohol for a month, and that month ended a couple of days ago, and so I've been drinking a beer called Mochaccino. It's a milkshake porter.
Yummy.
Haagen-Dazs by Burr Oaks. It has become one of my go-tos. Nice. But yeah, the reason I stopped drinking for a month was because I have a buddy who said, I want to take a year off. And I said, you know what? I will support you for a month.
There you go.
And so I took the first month off with him. I might take another month off with him.
Cool.
Because alcohol is not a big deal to me. So
do it. But that beer does that beer sounds delicious.
Next time we see you, Phil, maybe in 2021, but I doubt it because I'm probably going to California for a memorial for my father-in-law, which if you haven't heard, my father-in-law passed 2 weeks ago. But so pray for Lola. But yeah, we're probably going to go do a memorial in California for him, and so that'll be my vacation next summer.
There you go. Cool.
So.
Yep. Matt, do you want to jump on the bandwagon and talk about where you're drinking?
So I've been down here for just about a year, 11 months now. And of course, missing the flavors of the North Country.
Gotcha.
Sissy beer.
Gotcha.
So I went and got me some Leinenkugels.
Fake beer.
From Chippewa,
Oktoberfest.
from Chippewa Falls, there, eh?
Oh yeah, sure, you
Yeah,
betcha.
sure.
It's a little watered down, eh?
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 It's not all that watered down, you know.
Oh, how's the alcohol percentage on that?
I recall, their Martzen, for those who don't know, everything's advertised Oktoberfest. The Oktoberfest beer is actually what's called a Marzen, which is kind of
And it does say
spiced-
that
Yeah.
German style Marzen beer.
As I recall, their Marzen is a little bit hoppier than I like.
What is the alcohol content?
5.1.
Lightweight. This is 6.0.
Oh yeah, you talk about your 6.0. I haven't brought my drink up yet.
Before you start, this is made with Lakota coffee. Something.
Okay.
It's cold brewed Lakota coffee.
We don't grow coffee in South Dakota.
But that's what it says, Lakota.
Where the Lakota people are from.
I'd crack a joke.
Lakota
it's
Coffee
inappropriate, so
Yeah.
It's probably from Illinois or from.
I don't think there's any tradition of the Lakota, the Nakota, or the Dakota ever brewing and drinking coffee before the white man brought it to them.
you know
well,
what?
I'm gonna look it up. So
That is in the lines of what my joke was going to be, and you delivered it in such a professional manner, Phil. I applaud you.
Well, I try to be historically accurate in everything I say.
Columbia, Missouri is where they're at. So
Okay, well,
no Lakota
Interesting.
in Columbia.
I don't-
Maybe there are. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they did get down there, but this is their original territory.
Mhm.
So they sound like amazing beers, both of you.
Mine's way better than Matt's. So.
Well, Matt's
You can
isn't a German Marzen.
No,
Hoff- Hofbrau's Marzen is my favorite.
Yes.
Actually,
That's a great one.
Hofbrau's beers are about my favorite all across the board. Their Dunkel is amazing.
they are very good, but like I
Hofbrau.
said, I was missing the flavor of the North Country.
Hofbrau.
Or the South Country if you're in Germany.
Yeah.
In my nice little whiskey glass, I have very nice whiskey. This is. I'll reach over here and grab it. This
Did you put ice in that?
No, Lord, no. Why would I do something like
I
that?
was just
Let's see
making
if I can
sure.
get this. There we go. The Glenlivet 12 single malt Scotch whiskey. I am normally an Islay guy. Glenlivet, as I recall, is a Highland. Please don't quote me on that. I may be wrong. But it is a fine Scotch, and a 12 is a pretty decent kind of lower end of the single malt stuff that you can get. You were talking about alcohol volumes, Ben. Let's see here. This is bottled at.
See, he can't even find it, ladies
80
and
proof.
gentlemen. 80 proof means nothing to me.
It means
I want
40%.
percentage.
40%.
40%.
40%.
Well, you had a lot less than me, okay? So I've had 12%.
Your little 6% can go jump off a cliff.
And I've had 12%.
For those of you who never had Scotch before, but maybe you've had bourbon or Canadian or rye or something like that, it's much more of a kick in the face than other whiskeys. Much more of a smoky and peaty flavor. Even some of these that are not necessarily. The Islas are the really smoky peaty ones. Some of these other ones are a little less so, but they're gonna smack you around a little bit in the face when you take them. It's an acquired taste, but as a lawyer, I've clearly acquired a taste for.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a lawyer. I don't need the hard liquor.
Mm.
I don't drink hard liquor.
As an engineer, I can't stand drinking Glenlivet. I don't know. Maybe I've got something wrong, but
Well, clearly there's something wrong with you.
Personally, Matt, I think that lawyers are so like out there that they'll drink anything.
It's pretty much
I
it.
could pee in a cup and be like, here's some
We
Glenlivet.
draw
And
the
then,
we
like,
draw
You're
the
right.
lines.
You're right.
We
It
draw the
is.
line somewhere, but
I
I know
mean-
lawyers who could probably tell if there was Glenlivet in your urine or not.
now I have a coworker that likes the joke. Do you know why sharks won't bite lawyers?
Professional courtesy.
Exactly. So I mean, if sharks are willing to live in salt water, can lawyers, being that they have professional courtesy with sharks, really have that good of taste buds?
Nope.
Do you know what
I
they
mean,
call? Do you know what they
Shark
call
poop
100?
tastes good to them.
Do you know what they call 100 lawyers at the bottom of the sea?
A good start.
Good start. That's right.
Anything at the bottom of the sea joke is a good start.
I love my legal brethren and sisters, and it's just lawyers are some of the best people I've ever met. In all honesty, But
Unless you're a politician, then you suck. I'm sorry.
Hey, now
You just do.
be careful there.
You know, I'm not going to be careful there because
I don't know.
I'm tired of politicians this year.
Hey,
I don't know why.
Remember,
2020.
I have run for office, and in fact, I ran for office in 2020. People don't know that. Gene and I
feel
both
bad for
did.
you.
We ran for precinct committee man and woman in Hughes County for the GOP, and
And you lost, huh?
we weren't challenged, so our names didn't even appear on the ballot. We just got elected.
Oh, I'm so
Huh.
sorry.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah, something like that.
What are your thoughts on left-leaning lawyers that used to be cops?
Are you thinking of one left-leaning lawyer who used to be a cop from California in particular, who happens to be female and happens to be of?
I'm not going to use that
Somewhat-
many details.
Yeah.
Everyone
If you want to
watching
make those
is-
assumptions,
Everyone watching is assuming the same one. So
I will reserve my opinions and views for
for November,
for people
No-
who speak to
November?
me in person, and that is not all over the internet, because frankly, my opinions and views can be a little bit.
I will leave my opinions and views for November 3rd.
Yeah, I don't
Third.
know if I'm going to want to talk about them then either.
For the paper that I'm going to mark on, and not the one that I am supposed to mail in.
Right.
How many mailings have you guys gotten for mail-in voting yet?
We got one before the primary saying, if you want to vote by mail, here's how you get the ballot, and that was it.
I got an official one, and I've gotten two more in the past 3-4
So-
weeks.
I received one from the state of Arizona, one from, was it the Trump campaign or was it actually from the office of the president?
Probably not from the office of president, probably from the Trump campaign.
Okay. And then, honestly, registering to do the early or mail-in voting in Arizona is super easy. They have a website for it, and it's pretty convenient.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have a big philosophical problem with mail-in voting if they could make it so that the fraud wasn't a problem. When you have examples and stories of rampant fraud, of ballots being lost and things like that, I have a problem with it for those reasons. I don't have a philosophical issue with mailing in a ballot per se.
I have a problem with it with who's carrying it.
That's one of the concerns you have to tackle, right? But
It's just not very efficient or effective.
yeah, no, it's not. But I will say that I find great joy and satisfaction in going into my polling place,
Mm-hmm.
speaking with the poll workers, getting my ballot, filling it out, and turning it in.
Mm-hmm.
I like the process of going in to vote. In
Mhm.
South Dakota, I show them my ID, because in South Dakota we have to show ID. And getting my ballot that I know is going to be my ballot, that has the proper information on it. I fill it out, I turn it in, and I feel good putting that sticker on.
This year, when I go and vote, I'm not required to show ID, but I'm going to force them to look at my ID.
Well, Ben, how many times are you going to vote this year? In November?
Well, I mean, at least once, but we'll see.
Well,
I mean, how many
don't-
times are you going to vote for the Democrats, though?
None.
When I was in Minnesota,
I wouldn't count on that, Ben.
I understand up in the cities, they just take them from voting place to voting place as long as they promise to vote left.
I've heard stories like that from around the country, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't voted yet. I'm voting right.
Well, Ben, are you sure you haven't voted yet?
No, you know what? For all I know, in the state of Illinois, I've already voted 3 times. So
All 3 times for
Oh,
the
Pritzker.
candidate you didn't want.
I know, and it's sad, but that's just the reality we live in, because
Unfortunately, it is. Yeah.
that's how we live.
Again, as a student of history, I think back to the election of 1962, when John F. Kennedy was elected. You read some of the stories of some of the things that happened during that election.
Mhm.
Everybody should, because the voting fraud was rampant. It was horrendous.
For JFK.
For JFK, yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't necessarily at the behest of JFK or at the behest of the Democratic Party. Actually, a lot of it was done by the unions, to be perfectly honest. And you got to remember, this is the time of the union bosses that were just absolutely corrupt.
Al Capone. I'm just kidding.
No,
Who's good back
Al
then?
Capone. Who's the guy whose body they Hoffa and people like that?
Jimmy Hoffa, the body they can't find that's actually in the Marietta Hot Springs tennis courts.
Is it there, or is it buried under Giant Stadium?
Or is it in the ocean?
It's eaten up by fish, I'm sure. So anyway, you see stories like that and you hear stories like that, and you realize that, hey, yeah, voter fraud can be a very real thing. And it's something that we should be taking care of in this country, and nobody's doing anything about it. It's very annoying. So there's my political soapbox for the day, I guess.
No one wants to do anything about it because it's in favor of them.
Matt talked about his shirt. I want to talk about my shirt. If we have people in the Aberdeen, South Dakota area, please frequent my favorite establishment ever, the Red Rooster Coffee House.
Oh, can you move over? Because we can't really tell what the design is.
It's a design.
Can
It's
now
just
lift
kind
it
of
up.
crazy design.
Oh, okay. Mine is it's
Under Armour.
Under Armour,
Yeah.
but it's like I feel like The Rock today. Except smaller.
by a large margin.
No, not much. I mean, by quite a bit. So
Quite a bit. Yeah. Okay. Man, I think I'm all talked out, guys.
I could probably talk for more, but I'm a pastor, so let's end this at 53 minutes. So,
Wow, this is a long one.
It is.
Thanks,
And that's okay.
folks, for sticking with us this long. If you stayed with us till the end.
Thank
break
you
it
so
up into
much.
2 weeks. We missed last week, so break it up. Hit that
No.
30-minute mark and break it
No.
up, and then watch the
Just
next 30 minutes
Watch
later.
the whole thing and hit like as many times as you possibly can.
Hit it
No.
5 to
Hit it once.
1,000 times.
Make sure you hit it odd number of times. Don't hit it even number of times.
5 to 1,101 times.
And one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when our videos come out.
Yes.
Leave comments.
Share
share
it.
Share it. Yep, exactly.
Share it to
Share it
social media.
Share it with other people you think might want to sit and listen to
Yeah.
us babble on for 53 minutes.
This is like an awesome phone call.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we love you guys. Have a great week.
Love ya.
Take care.